In the history of modern medicine, there's been an unspoken rule. First, you prove that something works, and then you trust it on people. We saw this with the MRI, vaccines, joint replacements. These innovations underwent rigorous scrutiny before reaching mass adoption, sometimes a decade later. Yet somehow, robotic surgery has managed to invert this logic entirely. Over the last decade, hospital systems have aggressively installed these multi-million-dollar systems under the assumption that newer and more expensive inherently meant better. But something's not adding up. In this video, we're gonna break down the shaky economics of surgical robots, the mixed clinical reality behind the excessive hype, and the corporate arms race that fueled their rise. Let's dive in. So before we get into the economic riddle that is surgical robots, we have to ask a pretty basic question. Are these machines actually helping patients, or are they just creating the illusion of progress? I'm not a surgeon or a medical doctor, so I went to the literature expecting fairly clear results. A 2025 JAMA surgery study of over 844,000 gallbladder removals found no improvement in bile duct injuries when using robots instead of traditional laparoscopic tools. Worse, robotic procedures had longer stays and higher complication rates, 8.4% versus only 5.5%. That means for every 100 surgeries, 3 more people had complications because a robot was used. And the lack of improvement versus previous traditional forms of therapy wasn't a one-off case. In gynecology, large studies have reported no significant outcome differences between robotic and traditional hysterectomies either. However, in emergency settings, robotic surgery seems to offer some small advantages. A 2024 study tracking over 1 million urgent procedures found that the hospitals using robots saw fewer conversions to open surgery and slightly shorter hospital stays. So get to the point, is robotic surgery better or worse than traditional surgical methods? Right now, there's not really a consensus. The data is mixed, and even after years of adoption, it still is very much up in the air. And that's what makes this next part so weird, because despite this uncertainty, hospitals have been racing to get these new robots. If clinical results aren't driving this robotic arms race, then who or what is? So if the clinical data is a toss-up, the financial data is a landslide. In most industries like computing or manufacturing, innovation drives efficiency and then it lowers prices. But in American healthcare, up to this point, robotic surgery has done the opposite. Take a look at the data on your screen. Those blue bars right there represent the total cost of standard laparoscopic surgery, the baseline that's been used for years. The orange block stacking up on top, that's the robot premium. For a left colectomy, the robot drives the total cost up by over $3,300 per case, which is a 24% markup. For a ventral hernia repair, that's a 25% hike. Why is the price tag so much higher? It's because you pay for the surgery and you pay for the entire ecosystem. Buried inside those orange blocks is the amortization of a $1 to $2 million machine, a $100,000 annual service contract, and disposable instruments that cost $3,500 every single time a surgeon uses them. So if the robot costs more, delivers uncertain results, and then it has to drain hospital budgets, why has there been such a big race to get them into hospitals? The answer lies in a phenomenon that economists call the medical arms race. Studies suggest that hospitals are terrified of being left behind. So once one hospital in a region puts a robot on a billboard, every competitor in the area feels the pressure to follow suit. Or they risk potentially losing their star surgeons or their wealthy patients to the technology of the day. It's basically a battle for prestige, and there's only one clear winner in this war, and it's the device manufacturer. Intuitive Surgical, the company behind the Da Vinci robot, has executed one of the most brilliant business strategies out there. The real money is made in the blades. Every single surgery requires disposable instruments that cost up to $3,500 per case. By the end of 2024, there were 9,900 robots installed worldwide. Together, they performed 2.68 million procedures, tripling the volume from just 7 years ago. On the financial side of things, in Q4 of 2024, Intuitive made $655 million from selling their robots. But more importantly, they made $1.41 billion selling the instruments that allow you to use them. So we have a system where hospitals buy robots to compete for status and manufacturers push for volume to sell disposable tools. The result is an unstoppable engine of cost inflation, where the primary metric of success isn't better patient outcomes, it's better business. If you found this video interesting, you'd like to see more like it in the future, please consider subscribing for more. This is Tyler Dutchover, thanks for watching.